Good evening from Mission Control Houston and the International Space Station Flight Control Room. Flight controllers here are working with their counterparts across the ocean at the Russian Mission Control Center outside of Moscow in the town of Korolyov as we stand by in the final minutes of the flight of a veteran Russian cosmonaut, a Russian actress, and her producer-director, who are now flying aboard the Soyuz MS-18 spacecraft following its undocking from the International Space Station a couple of hours ago. Oleg Novitskiy, the Soyuz commander and veteran Russian cosmonaut, about to wrap up 191 days in space on this, his third flight into space, flanked on his left by Russian director-producer Klim Shipenko, spaceflight participant and board engineer number 1 for this descent back to Earth and a landing on the steppe of Kazakhstan. On the right, or to Novitskiy's right, is Yulia Peresild, the Russian actress who has joined Shipenko over the past 12 days since they were launched from the Baikonur Cosmodrome in Kazakhstan on the Soyuz MS-19 spacecraft, with another Russian cosmonaut, Anton Shkaplerov, arriving on the station for 12 days of movie making for a film titled Challenge, in which Peresild portrays a surgeon dispatched to the International Space Station to attend to an ailing crew member. With their movie making having come to an end after a productive 12 days of film acquisition, shooting scenes aboard the International Space Station, the 3 crew members are now poised for a deorbit burn that is coming up 24 and a half minutes from now that will slow the Soyuz down and allow it to drop out of orbit for its high-speed entry back into the Earth's atmosphere and a landing on the steppe of Kazakhstan about 92 miles to the southeast of the town of Zhezkazgan. As mentioned just a bit over 2 hours ago at 8:14 p.m. Central Time, 9:14 p.m. Eastern Time, the Soyuz MS-18 undocked from the Nauka multipurpose laboratory module on the Earth-facing side of the Russian segment of the International Space Station. Hooks were driven open, holding the Soyuz to Nauka, and springs on both sides of the docking interface pushed off against one another to enable physical separation. The Soyuz executed a couple of separation burns, small engine firings, to create an opening rate from the International Space Station, drifting away to a point at which it is now, as we stand by for the deorbit burn that will begin the final leg of the journey home for Novitskiy, Peresild, and Shipenko. Earlier in the evening, the crew members had an opportunity to say farewell to their counterparts on board the International Space Station. Peresild in the red jumpsuit, Shipenko at the hatchway, Oleg Novitskiy in the white flight suit as they climbed aboard the Soyuz MS-18 to begin donning their Sokol launch and entry suits and conducting leak checks at the docking interface between the Soyuz and the Nauka multipurpose laboratory module. In the foreground there, in this replay from earlier today, Anton Shkaplerov, the veteran Russian cosmonaut who launched with Peresild and Shipenko back on October 5th, and who now stays aboard the International Space Station as part of the Expedition 66 crew. Shkaplerov to return to Earth in March of next year with NASA astronaut Mark Vande Hei and Russian cosmonaut Pyotr Dubrov. When Novitskiy lands on the steppe of Kazakhstan, with that landing scheduled at 11:35 and 42 seconds p.m. Central Time tonight, just about an hour and a half from now, he will have chalked up 191 days in space on this, his third flight into orbit. On this particular mission, he will have completed 3,056 orbits of the Earth in a journey that has spanned 80.9 million miles. Novitskiy's three-flight total is now going to stand at 531 days in space. He also conducted 3 spacewalks during the mission, including the initial outfitting of the new Naoka multipurpose laboratory module that arrived at the station for its automated docking in late July. For the 2 spaceflight participants who flew under an arrangement between Roscosmos and Moscow-based media entities, Yulia Peresild, the actress, and her producer-director, Klim Shipenko, spent 12 days in space, 192 orbits of the Earth, in a mission in which they logged 5.1 million miles.
Copy. Doing good on board. Can hear you loud and clear. Same here.
At this hour, the Russian search and recovery forces, called Rosaviatsia, the civil entity that takes care of the recovery of all returning Soyuz crews from orbit. They are at the airport in Zhezkazgan, which is one of the staging cities for tonight's recovery operations. They will soon be boarding at the time of the deorbit burn. Russian Mi-8 helicopters, rotors spinning, for about a 35-minute helicopter ride down to the landing site, ultimately arriving in a racetrack pattern around the landing zone to await the arrival of the Soyuz under its large main parachute. They will quickly attend to the crew once the landing has occurred, landing their helicopters in sequential fashion, one by one, erecting a inflatable medical tent near the capsule itself, and beginning the process of extracting the crew. It should be Novitskiy out of the spacecraft first, since he is in the center seat of the Soyuz, followed by Shipenko and Peresild. They'll have a few minutes to get their legs back, their land legs back, after their time in a weightless environment, as they sit in those chairs near their capsule before being carried into that inflatable medical tent to get out of their Russian Sokol launch and entry suits and into more comfortable clothing. They'll be brought back to 3 different helicopters waiting in that landing zone to fly about 2 hours back to the staging city of Karaganda, Kazakhstan, where they will then board a Gagarin Cosmonaut Training Center aircraft for a flight back to the training base in Star City, Russia, outside of Moscow. This is the first time that an all-Russian crew has returned home in a Soyuz spacecraft since June 16, 2000, when cosmonauts Sergei Zayotyn and Alexander Kaleri landed in a Soyuz vehicle after decommissioning the Mir space station. In the past few minutes, flight controllers at the Russian Mission Control Center, and again, you're looking at a live view of that cavernous flight control room from a balcony camera overlooking the flight controllers who are on console there, monitoring all of their data. One of the flight controllers, in conversation with Oleg Novitskiy, explained what the weather conditions were like at the landing site, and they appear to be ideal. Clear skies on a Sunday morning on the steppe of Kazakhstan, with very light winds, temperatures in the low to mid 40s expected to greet the trio upon their arrival.
And please say hello from all of us up here on the station. Well, we already missed being on the station, so I'm already looking into opportunities to come back. Well, next time we'll see you on Earth. Yes, bye-bye. Bye.
A brief exchange between Anton Shkaplerov on the International Space Station and the crew aboard the Soyuz, wishing them all the best as they soon will begin their journey back to Earth with a deorbit burn just 17 minutes from now. This will be a 4-minute, 38-second retrograde firing of the Soyuz engines that will slow the Soyuz down by 128 meters per second, allowing it to drop out of orbit for its return to Earth. Some 29 minutes after the deorbit burn, there will be a pyrotechnic separation of the 3 sections of the Soyuz, the module separation coming at an altitude of about 140 kilometers. This will enable the descent module, where the crew is strapped in to their respective seats in their Sokol launch and entry suits, to be traveling in the direction that will enable the Soyuz to enter the region of plasma, the peak heating region, where the heat shield will repel temperatures building up to about 2,500 degrees around the spacecraft for 5 minutes of a fireball, basically, that the crew will be descending back to Earth in. Once they exit that plasma regime at an altitude of about 37 kilometers, the next major milestone will come at 11:21 p.m. Central Time, 12:21 a.m. Eastern Time, when the command will be issued to open up the parachutes. First, a drogue chute will be deployed, followed by the main chute at 10.7 kilometers in altitude. The jettisoning of the heat shield will follow, and that will expose the braking rockets at the base of the Soyuz, along with the altimeter that will send information back to the onboard computers to calculate its rate of descent and its altitude above the Earth. And finally, the braking rockets will fire just a few seconds before touchdown, and the crew will be back on Earth. Landing is scheduled 92 miles to the southeast of Zhezkazgan, Kazakhstan, at 11:35 and 42 seconds p.m. Central Time, which will be 10:35 and 42 seconds a.m. Kazakhstan time at the landing site. One of the characteristics of a Soyuz descent back to Earth is that a short time following the completion of the deorbit burn, about 10 seconds after the burn is complete, the upper section or the orbital module of the 3-section Soyuz spacecraft will be depressurized. That, in essence, sets the stage for the module separation, the pyrotechnic firing that will separate the 3 sections of the Soyuz from one another. The Soyuz will move just right after that to a range of some 125 kilometers away from the International Space Station, at which time VHF voice communications is expected to be at best ratty and perhaps unavailable, as the geometry of the Soyuz antennas and the antennas on the International Space Station becomes no longer useful for voice communication back to the ground. You'll hear a beep, beep, beep sound. That is the radar system on the Soyuz communicating beacon signals, basically, that will be picked up by the Antonov fixed-wing aircraft that will be flying around the landing site, serving as an airborne command and relay center to relay information about the condition of the crew and the progress of the Soyuz as it descends back to Earth to the flight controllers that you see there in the Russian Mission Control Center in Korolyov. Coming up on about 12 and a half minutes until the deorbit burn. Everything on the Soyuz is in good shape. The crew reported to be in good shape and good spirits on board as they prepare for the final leg of their journey back to Earth and a completion of 12 days of movie making aboard the International Space Station. The Expedition 66 crew on board the station, which is asleep at this hour, with the exception of the 2 Russian cosmonauts, Anton Shkaplerov and Pyotr Dubin, Kalibrov. They are now a new increment, the Expedition 66 increment, beginning formally at the time of the undocking of the Soyuz a little over 2 hours ago. The commander of the space station, European Space Agency astronaut Thomas Pesquet, will be in control of station operations for the next couple of weeks until he hands over command of the station to Shkaplerov before Pesquet returns to Earth himself with his Crew Dragon crewmates of Shane Kimbrough, Megan MacArthur, and Japan Aerospace Exploration Agency astronaut Aki Hoshide. They are scheduled to return to Earth in early November.
You're feeling great? And everything's good. All right, everything's fine, and we are standing by for the EKV inhibit command. That's right.
The Russian flight controllers told Novitskiy a short time ago that because the communications between the ground and the Soyuz spacecraft are expected to be somewhat intermittent at best, perhaps non-existent, they have advised him to continue reporting on the condition of the Soyuz and the condition of he and his crewmates, even if there's no response that he hears on board from the Russian flight controllers. You will hear them call the spacecraft by Novitskiy's call sign of Kazbek. That's one of the major mountains in the Caucasus and one of the 10 highest peaks in Russia. Novitskiy choosing, as all Soyuz commanders do, a call sign for their vehicle.
Copy.
Coming up on the 8.5-minute mark before the initiation of the deorbit burn using the Soyuz main engine. Again, this will be a 4-minute, 38-second retrograde maneuver, a braking maneuver, to slow the Soyuz down by 128 meters per second. During the course of that deorbit burn, Novitskiy will be calling out duration and chamber pressure readings. You'll be hearing that through the interpreter.
Maneuver confirmed, and that's on display 42. Copy. Oleg, I confirm in attitude, and I'm sending the Unintelligible command.
Докладываем при отработке импульса, докладываем отработанное время.
So please set in the delta V. Please also set in the burn and report on the progress and the result of the burn. Copy. Just provide a running commentary to us. Will do.
Так, ну тогда можно...
I sent T Tango 3 command and S9 command. S9 is illuminated. Copy.
The Soyuz is reported to be in the correct orientation for the deorbit burn that will begin less than 6.5 minutes from now.
Moscow, this is Kazbek. Everything's fine on board. Copy.
Олег, на IMPO-1 формат контроль.
Oleg, please select control on display on the input panel 1. And just wanted to say that in attitude is set to maneuver.
Таблицу на формате контроль по параметрам.
Great. We can actually look at the table that's on the control display.
Принято.
Copy.
Five minutes now until the deorbit burn. Everything in good shape on the Soyuz. At the airport in Zhezkazgan, which is where the Russian Mi-8 helicopters have been staged, the selected recovery personnel in those helicopters have their helicopter rotors spinning, ready to take off one by one for about a 35-minute helicopter ride down to the landing site, where they will be pre-positioned in a racetrack pattern to await the arrival of the Soyuz under its main chute. You can see the trajectory as the Soyuz will move from southwest to northeast to its landing site, about 92 miles to the southeast of Zhezkazgan.
Олег, за минуту до включения двигателя.
Oleg, 1 minute prior to thruster activation, please monitor BIOS power supply and GSO in attitude. Copy.
Coming up on the 2-minute mark until the start of the deorbit burn. Again, this will be a 4-minute, 38-second engine firing to begin the trip home for Novitskiy, Peresild, and Shipenko. One minute till the deorbit burn begins.
1 minute to SKD activation, and we confirm SKD cover is open. We confirm power to BIOS in attitude GSO. And we confirm mode stable. G3 command for COM session activation has been sent. We copy.
Есть готовность BIOS на СУС.
BIOS and SUS are ready.
Принято.
10 seconds from the deorbit burn.
Есть включение двигателя.
Thruster activation is confirmed.
Принято.
Deorbit burn is now underway.
Секунд.
15 minutes. First burn. 0.46. Parameters are all nominal.
Секунд.
30 seconds. Burn is 14 meters.
Принято.
Copy.
Good parameters so far being reported by Novitskiy on board the Soyuz MS-18.
Принято.
We copy all.
Минута 10.
1 minute,
1,2.
10 seconds.
Норма.
All parameters are nominal.
Принято.
347. We copy.
Минута 30.
1 minute, 30 seconds.
43,2.
1 minute, 38 seconds into the burn, 3 minutes to go. Everything reported to be going well.
And then 0.47. We copy all.
Две минуты 54,7. NX 047. Параметр норма.
2 minutes, 54.7 and 0.47. And everything's nominal on board. We copy all.
Время 2:20, импульс 64.
220, but the burn is 64. We copy.
2:30, 60.
230, 69.3.
Принято.
Copy. minutes, 55 seconds. 81.9 and then 0.48. And all parameters are nominal. Three minutes, 15 seconds, 91.3, 0.48. All the parameters, the burn is 91.3. All the parameters are nominal. We copy. $340. Burn is 102.5. 0.48 is the second number, and everything's fine on board. Copy.
Less than a minute left in the deorbit burn. Everything going well.
4 minutes. 112.5 for the burn. Copy.
метра.
122 meters at 4 minutes 20 seconds.
Standing by for a nominal cutoff.
For CGK main engine cutoff. We confirm.
And we have the end of the deorbit burn. It was a nominal burn. A veteran Russian actress, her producer-director, and a veteran Russian cosmonaut are on their way home.
Copy.
As the deorbit burn was completed, the Russian Mi-8 helicopters at the airport in Kazakhstan began to depart one by one, headed for the landing site to await the arrival of the Soyuz MS-18 under its main parachute.
And I'm moving on to page 56. Guys, page 56. Copy.
Чуть меньше 23 минут.
And there is less than 23 minutes till separation.
Олег,
Copy. Oleg,
время ГК.
would you please verify what was GK time?
Сейчас, секунду.
I copy. Please stand by.
ГК 06
GK 064619.
6:19.
Okay? 064619. Right.
Какой импульс отработали?
And could you please check what burn are you done with?
7,99.
Well, it was 127.99 for the burn. Wonderful.
Давление в БО 89, 786.
Below pressure is 89 and descent module pressure SR is 786. Copy.
Так, по странице 56, не позднее переделили минус.
All right.
4.
No later than separation 0647. And
Верно. Ну, время отслеживайте по
so talking over each other. So no later T separation minus 06.
Так, Юля, дашь мне?
Yulia, could you give me the rotational hand control? It needs to be in the transport position. Let me stow this one.
Oh, no. Молодец, спасибо.
Good job. Thank you so much.
Так, и Рус мне передашь?
And could you give me the hand controllers? Yes, of course.
Спасибо.
Thank you.
Взял.
Right. I got it.
Москву, Казбеку, на борту порядок.
Moscow, this is Kazbeki. Everything's fine on board.
Это.
Copy.
Слышим вас хорошо.
And we read you loud and clear.
Oleg Novitskiy reporting back to Russian flight controllers that everything is in good shape on board. He and his crewmates having completed a successful deorbit burn of 4 minutes and 38 seconds. The uppermost section of the three-section Soyuz vehicle, the orbital module, was depressurized as planned 10 seconds after the completion of the burn, setting the stage for module separation that is coming up about 15 minutes from now. We're about 2 minutes away from the point at which the Soyuz will be too far away from the station to ensure solid VHF voice communications. Sometimes those communications will hang in there for a bit longer, sometimes not, based on the geometry of the Soyuz antennas and those on the International Space Station. So we'll be standing by to see what kind of comm we have as the crew descends back to a landing site 92 miles to the southeast of Kazakhstan. Touchdown expected 40 minutes from now. All the events of the day have gone as planned. The crew on the Soyuz vehicle having said farewell to their space station colleagues who they spent the last 12 days with in the case of Peresild and Shipenko, and for Novitskiy the last 6.5 months. The hatch was closed on the Soyuz vehicle and subsequently on the space station at 3:41 p.m. Central Time and latched about an hour later. Undocking occurring on time at 8:14 p.m. Central Time as the International Space Station and the Soyuz MS-18 flew 258 miles over northeastern China. And as we've been describing, the deorbit burn occurring on time.
We are here, and we copy that everything's good on board. We read you pretty well, Moscow. Copy.
The Russian Mi-8 helicopters are airborne, heading from Kazakhstan to the landing site. That's about a 35-minute helicopter ride. Once at the landing site, they will fly in an oval-shaped racetrack pattern, awaiting the arrival of the Soyuz, its voice and data communications to be relayed through an Antonov fixed-wing aircraft that is essentially a flying command and control center relaying data and information back to the Russian mission control in Korolyov. You're looking at a live view from a balcony camera as the Russian flight controllers keep tabs on the progress of the descent of the Soyuz MS-18 toward its landing site. And at the moment, we're at the point at which voice communications were expected to become choppy or to be lost altogether for a time. This might persist for most of the descent back to Earth. Just to give you some time hacks here, the module separation is expected at 11:10 p.m. Central Time, a little less than 11 minutes from now. The crew will begin entry into the Earth's atmosphere at 11:12 p.m. Central Time. At that point of entry, the crew will begin to feel the first tug of gravity against their bodies. For Oleg Novitskiy, the first sensation of gravity in 6.5 months. At about 11:14 p.m., the Soyuz, with its heat shield in the direction of travel, will enter into the so-called plasma regime.
Readiness mode in order. Copy.
The entrance into the plasma regime will take about 4.5 minutes to complete. Peak heating on the spacecraft at that time.
Report on descent even if there is no COM.
The landing sequence is very interesting. The parachute deployment sequence for the Soyuz is triggered by a barometric pressure sensor when the atmospheric pressure is measured at about 41,000 feet above the ground.
Unintelligible. Let me hold up. It looks all right.
At 41,000 feet above the ground, the main parachute cover is jettisoned by pyros and springs. This pulls out 2 extraction chutes, which in turn pulls out a drogue chute, which in turn pulls out the main parachute on the Soyuz. It takes about 20 seconds for all of this to take place.
How do you read us? We read you with interference, but we read you.
Понял.
Copy.
КСС в режиме готовности. Я правильно понял?
You are in readiness mode, right?
Continuing on with a description of the entry sequence, at about 18,000 feet, commands are sent to jettison the heat shield on the Soyuz, to inhibit entry control thrusters, and to open valves that vent hydrogen peroxide fuel for the entry control thrusters and the oxygen in the life support system tank. Sometimes, depending on whether or not we have live video of that portion of the descent, you'll see a white vapor emanating from the Soyuz. That's a combination of hydrogen peroxide and oxygen venting into the air. The purpose of that is to safe the vehicle for landing so that hazardous gases don't remain in the tanks when the soft landing thrusters fire just a few feet off the ground, just prior to the vehicle impacting the landing site.
Закрыл, хорошо, да?
Close well, right? Yes.
Где-то здесь вальсары-то зачем? Не нужна. Перепад давления не будет. Что? Ничего.
Unintelligible.
Казбек, тут с Москвы. КСС у вас в режиме готовности. Я правильно понял?
If everything is going as planned, we should be about 5 minutes away from module separation at an altitude of 140 kilometers.
F3
Контролируйте до разделения.
monitor separation.
Вот. И перед разделением не забудьте отключить
Check bills
тангенты, отжать клавишу.
and don't forget to release the transmitter before separation.
The MS-18 with Novitskiy, Peresild, and Shipenko on board continuing to make its way towards entry interface. We're about 3.5 minutes away from the scheduled time for module separation. Coming up on about 27 minutes till the anticipated touchdown of the MS-18 at the landing site to the southeast of Kazakhstan. About a minute and a half away from the expected pyrotechnic separation of the three sections of the Soyuz. Flight controllers here at Mission Control in Houston, waiting for confirmation of module separation. Flight controllers at the Russian Mission Control Center have confirmed module separation. A key milestone, the heat shield now in the direction of travel for the Soyuz vehicle. This is about the point at which the Soyuz will be entering the Earth's atmosphere, and the crew will begin to feel gravity against their bodies. And that sound of the radio beacon confirming that the Soyuz is in good shape, heading for the landing site to the southeast of Kazakh, touchdown less than 22 minutes from now. This is Mission Control Houston. Coming up on 20 minutes until touchdown. The Soyuz MS-18 is now flying the descent module free of the other sections. Module separation occurring just a few minutes ago. The spacecraft has entered the Earth's atmosphere and is in the period of heat peak heating around the vehicle, the heat shield repelling temperatures of some 2,500 degrees. The Soyuz and its 3 occupants should be emerging from this period of peak heating around the spacecraft a couple of minutes from now, 18 and a half minutes until touchdown. The Russian Mi-8 helicopters, part of the search and recovery forces, should be approaching the landing site about now. We are about 3 minutes away from the anticipated deployment of the parachutes. First a drogue chute and then the main chute on the Soyuz vehicle.
How do you read us? Loud and clear? Load 405. Integral 15. 7 seconds. Bias. Plus 7. And pressure in descent module. Inaudible. Copy. Everything is all right? Thank you. We are going to take care, and load is decreasing. Waiting for the chute to deploy. Everything is perfect, guys. The load is 2 right now, getting less.
Standing by for parachute deployment. Good communications reestablished with the crew aboard the Soyuz.
Perfect. Great.
Сейчас хорошо придется, болтать будет.
Unintelligible.
Voice and data soon to be relayed through an Antonov fixed-wing aircraft at the landing site. We're about 14 minutes away from touchdown.
Сейчас мы видим, что парашют велся хорошо, и мерная база, наверное, нормальная, и скорость примерно тут у нас порядка...
"13 minutes until touchdown. Standing by for confirmation of chute deploy."
То есть получается у нас на 10 метров у нас ввод ОСП, но это не весь парашют вводится, а сначала вытяжной блок, потом тормозной парашют, где-то 24-25 метров квадратных. Он примерно через 16, ну там мерная база 16 секунд. Через 16 секунд он отстреливается и вводится уже парашют.
И, да. Прошу прощения, что-то вроде дыма, пара какого-то, это что такое?
Ну это уже сброс, это... Так как в аппарате у нас есть запасы кислорода и запасы рабочего тела для того, чтобы работал система исполнительных органов спуска, которая у нас управляет пускаемым аппаратом во время атмосферного участка. И нужно, чтобы при соударении с землей не было какой-нибудь такой аварии или взрыва, микровзрыва, то лишнее рабочее тело сбрасывается, да.
Ну, то есть это не является, не дай бог, там, нештатной
Вот отстрел лобовой теплозащиты,
да,
то есть это примерно 5,5 километров. Сейчас целый ряд действий, которые экипаж может осуществить на себе. Взводится кресло, вот, то есть они становятся ближе к пульту. Взводится это для того, чтобы, если вдруг не сработают двигатели мягкой посадки, то это взведение кресел, оно позволяет самортизировать удар об землю. Так. Затем запитываются всякие ударные датчики, запитывается гамма-лучевой высотомер, который на днище, который нам позволит, чтобы сработали двигатели мягкой посадки. Затем отстрел иллюминаторов был. Ну, просто не очень хорошо было видно, но это почти одновременно. Вот эта лобовая теплозащита отлетела и иллюминаторы. Ну и вот те люди, которые приезжают на посадку, они сейчас есть те, которые любители этого коллекционирования, они поехали за этим.
Драгоценный сувенир, наверное.
Да, но раз в 5 лет этот лобовой теплозащиты забирает команда технического обслуживания на исследование, правильно ли там все сработало там. Но сейчас вот
This is Mission Control Houston, our first view of the Soyuz MS-18 now.
Сейчас можно предполагать, как, в каком формате приземлиться, так как положено, это до последней секунды.
The crew reporting they are feeling well. Data, telemetry, and voice being relayed through an Antonov fixed-wing aircraft at the landing site. Russian Mi-8 helicopters are now in a racetrack pattern, ready to greet the crew following touchdown.
Давление наддува 19 в каждом береге.
19 inaudible. 10 in the first one. And 10.5 in the second.
Да, появилась высота 4200 показывает.
420 is altitude.
ПСС как приняли высоту?
And how do you copy? 420 we copy. This is search and rescue team. 16 and 17 in the first and 2 and 8 and 2. Copy, perfect.
Eight minutes until touchdown, everything proceeding in very good fashion. The Soyuz MS-18, Oleg Novitskiy, the Soyuz commander, in the center seat, flanked to his left by Russian producer-director Klim Shipenko, and on his right by Russian actress Yulia Peresild, just minutes away from returning to Earth and a landing some 92 miles to the southeast of the town of Roscosmos. It is Sunday morning on the steppe of Kazakhstan. Clear skies, light winds, temperatures in the low to mid-40s.
Хотя бы чего, наверное, уже хорошо. Вино ложение чувствуете, нормально? Да.
Do you feel the seat liner tight to your back? Yes, tight, very tight.
Вот Викторович, вас наблюдают на высоте 2400, отвечают.
2400 is altitude. Copy.
Высота 3200.
3200. 493 is the pressure and growing. Good.
Передача зажата или отжата, не пойму. А, нет, ладно.
Is your transmitter on or off?
Oleg Novitskiy, minutes away from completing a 191-day mission spanning 80.9 million miles. Peresild and Shipenko, having filmed scenes for a movie aboard the International Space Station for the past 12 days, returning to Earth. You see one of the Russian Mi-8 helicopters flying in the foreground, part of the phalanx of Rosaviatsa assets, ready to recover the crew. Once touchdown occurs, it will take just a few minutes for the search and recovery team to surround the capsule, erect an inflatable medical tent, and begin the process of extracting the crew from the descent module.
How copy us, Oleg? How are you? And who are these guys? These are our search and rescue teams, as far as I understand.
Я тоже что-то завязала ремни.
Right. I tied my straps pretty, like I tightened them too much. That's okay. All right.
Так, высота
220. 220 is the altitude and 555 is the descent module pressure. Search and rescue team is unintelligible. Do you see the helicopter? No, I don't. That's Klim. You're approaching to the 200-meter altitude. 568 is the pressure in the descent. Repress 16.16.
Less than 200 meters off the ground. The crew soon will be bracing for the firing of the soft landing engines. Just a few feet off the ground, the information being relayed to the onboard computers by the altimeter at the base of the Soyuz.
Because we don't get a take two, guys.
Высота 1600, давление высота 603.
Altitude is 1,600 and descent module pressure is 603. And we confirm 1,600. If you turn your head a little bit. Do you see them? No, I don't. Maybe they're on your side. Search and rescue team. Well, most importantly, we can see you guys. That's search and rescue team. Well, the camera is also recording, so we'll be able to see it later. 1,200 is the altitude. And we confirm the altitude is 1,200. 16. Repress is 1616 and oxidize is 0.8 and 1.4. We copy.
Very smooth descent under the main parachute. The crew soon bracing for touchdown.
All right, guys, fold your arms, your elbows tight, and just get ready for the chute deployment. We'll see you guys. That's the search and rescue team. Everything's nominal. 675 is the descent module pressure. The altitude is 500 meters. Get ready, guys. Copy. Get ready. Don't talk till I tell you. 400 is the altitude. Copy. Altitude is 300 meters. Copy. $100 meters, guys. Get ready.
Standing by for touchdown.
550 meters. 20 meters, guys. Brace yourselves.
Touchdown confirmed.
Welcome to the Earth.
Touchdown confirmed at 11:35 p.m. Central Time, 12:35 a.m. Eastern Time, 10:35 a.m. Kazakhstan Time. Oleg Novitskiy home after 191 days in space for Yulia Peresild and Klim Shipenko.
They landed vertically. Awesome, guys.
And confirmation from the search and recovery forces that the Soyuz landed upright, so they stuck the landing on the steppe of Kazakhstan. The 12-day movie-making mission of Peresild and Shipenko at an end. A smooth touchdown for Novitskiy, Peresild, and Shipenko on the steppe of Kazakhstan on a Sunday morning. The elements of the search and recovery forces, the Russian Mi-8 helicopters and all-terrain vehicles now moving toward the capsule to begin the process of erecting an inflatable medical tent and extracting the crew. They'll be put in chairs right beside their capsule to have a few minutes to reacclimate themselves to Earth's gravity before being brought into that medical tent to get out of their Russian Sokol launch and entry suits and into more comfortable clothing before they board helicopters to fly about 2 hours to the staging city in Karaganda, where they will board a Gagarin Cosmonaut Training Center aircraft for a flight back to their training base in Star City, Russia, outside of Moscow. All of the events throughout the course of the afternoon and evening went according to schedule. The crew bidding farewell to their space station counterparts, climbing aboard their Soyuz MS-18, conducting leak checks of their spacesuits and their vehicle prior to the Soyuz undocking from the International Space Station's Nauka module, a multi-purpose laboratory module, the undocking occurring at 8:14 p.m. Central Time, 9:14 p.m. Eastern Time. The deorbit burn took place as planned, a 4-minute, 38-second retrograde firing to slow the Soyuz down, allowing it to drop out of orbit. And 54 minutes later, homecoming, with the Soyuz touching down on the steppe of Kazakhstan. You now see a phalanx of vehicles making their way towards the capsule itself. You saw the descent of the Soyuz under its main parachute, touchdown occurring just a few minutes ago at 11:35 p.m. Central Time, 12:35 a.m. Eastern Time, 10:35 a.m. in Kazakhstan on a Sunday morning. This is Mission Control Houston. We'll be standing by for more video from the landing site. You're looking at a live picture from a camera on an all-terrain vehicle that tracked the Soyuz's descent under its main parachute for the final minutes of its mission, having undocked from the International Space Station earlier this evening, conducting a deorbit burn and an on-time touchdown at 11:35 p.m. Central Time, 10:35 a.m. Kazakhstan time at the landing site on Sunday morning. The report from the search and recovery forces was that the Soyuz landed upright, so the crew will be extracted through the use of a ladder that will be mounted along the side of the capsule. The top hatch of the Soyuz will be open, and the members of the Energia and search and recovery teams will be working to extract the crew members one by one. This is Mission Control Houston, continuing to watch video from the landing site on the steppe of Kazakhstan to the southeast of the town of Zhezkazgan, where the Soyuz MS-18 spacecraft touched down about 13 minutes ago, completing a flawless descent back into the Earth's atmosphere after its undocking from the International Space Station a few hours ago. Oleg Novitskiy home after 191 days in space, now with a total of 531 days in space on his 3 missions. Russian actress Yulia Peresild and producer-director Shipenko back on Earth after 12 days aboard the station, in which they filmed scenes for a movie titled Challenge.
Houston Station on 2 for BME TV.
Go ahead, station.
Hey, good wee hours of the night.
This is Mission Control Houston, about 20 minutes since the landing of the Soyuz MS-18 on the steppe of Kazakhstan. We are still awaiting the repositioning of television cameras and all-terrain vehicles by the capsule, and are expecting to receive additional television here momentarily. And now receiving that television as the ladder has been set up at the capsule to begin the process of extracting the crew.
Nobody's answering. Put the headsets on. We left it behind. Okay, quiet everybody.
Those are the chairs that have been set by the capsule on which the three crew members will be placed. Oleg Novitskiy, Peresild, the actress, and her producer-director, Shipenko.
Step back.
They will be extracted one by one out of the top hatch of the Soyuz following its on-time landing at 11:35 p.m. Central Time, 10:35 a.m. Kazakhstan time on a Sunday morning. And as you can see, clear skies, almost no wind at the landing site, temperatures in the 40s, almost ideal conditions for the return of the three crew members.
I will give you a hint. Okay, please, no one should be looking into the camera. Who's the representative here? Okay, please step back. I will announce. Yeah, because we may not be able to do it later. Okay, everything's fine. Okay. People stand here, please. Everybody remove the masks. Thank you. Are you ready? Yes. Make sure no one stays in the mask. Help each other. And Oleg Novitskiy being placed in his chair
having been extracted from the Soyuz, which landed upright.
Can we get closer? No.
The veteran Russian commander, now with 531 days in space to his credit.
Do not step on the blue plastic. Yeah, fix it like this. Just a little bit like that.
Ребята, а почему вы не занесли на...
Guys, please stop dusting here. No calm.
Members of the RSC Energia technical team and the search and recovery support personnel now working to extract the other two crew members, Yulia Peresild and Klim Shipenko. Meanwhile, Oleg Novitskiy on a Sunday morning. Initial medical testing being conducted, everything in good shape. Novitskiy having completed 191 days in space on this mission, which spanned 80.9 million miles. And producer-director Klim Shipenko now out of the Soyuz.
That way? You okay? Well, here you are, back home. Okay, all right. Come down. Careful. All right, keep moving. Now, step away. Step away. Step aside.
And moments away from seeing Yulia Peresild. The Soyuz MS-18 landing upright on time at 11:35 p.m. Central Time, 10:35 a.m. Kazakhstan time. And there's Yulia Peresild, the Russian actress, now out of the Soyuz vehicle.
Оля, тот показывает, что не попадать в ту сторону.
Где вы там ходите все?
Where are you? Work in sync. Guys, please, let us do some shooting.
A rather large crowd greeting this trio, returning from space, including the head of Roscosmos, Dmitry Rogozin.
Well, did you like it? Okay, that's it. Now please everybody step back. Do you have a loudspeaker? Where is it?
So all three crew members out of the Soyuz, having a few minutes to bask in a Sunday morning sunlight. They soon will be carried into the nearby inflatable medical tent to get out of those Russian Sokol launch and entry suits and into more comfortable clothing. Yulia Peresild, the Russian actress, having been handed a bouquet of flowers. They will be flown in 3 Russian Mi-8 helicopters back to Karaganda, Kazakhstan, a short time from now, to board a Gagarin Cosmonaut Training Center aircraft for a flight back to Star City, Russia, outside of Moscow.
Вот мы вроде бы неподалеку, смотрите, уже совсем другой человек перед нами. Перед нами Юлия Пересильд, которая...
We are very close to a superhuman being, Yulia. Yulia was flying to space. And how was it? It was wonderful. Inaudible.
Давай.
Снимайте на мобильный, это сцена. Телевидение, телефон убрали. Ребята,
guys, please step back. Everybody, step back. The entire crew.
Сделайте, пожалуйста, кроме группы, несколько шагов назад. Давай. Ребят, все отошли назад. Здесь, пожалуйста,
Everybody, step back.
Я тебе дам. Я все понимаю.
Except for the support group.
The three Soyuz crew members will soon be carried into the inflatable medical tent nearby.
Приготовились.
Get ready.
Ребят, не снимайте финал фильма на мобильнике.
Guys, please do not do any filming on your smartphones. Do not take any videos, because right now this is actually the future end of the movie.
Финальная сцена и в палатку. Через спускаемый аппарат. Через что? Спускаемый аппарат. Да. Не забудь.
Давайте дублики.
Там можно, в принципе, поставить даже снимающую. Не сиди 50 пусть раз. Хорошо.
Actually, there was some room in the descent module for it. Inaudible.
Oleg Novitskiy having a moment to chat with a member of the search and recovery forces, a Russian nurse at his side. That is customary for all returning Soyuz crew members to have Russian support personnel, including medical personnel, to attend to them upon their return.
I'll see you very soon. Thank you.
And another view of Yulia Peresild, the Russian actress who spent 12 days aboard the International Space Station, along with her producer-director, Klim Shipenko.
Now, please get ready for the take. Film crew, get ready for the take. Camera run. Andrei, 5 minutes.
Так, ждем.
Still waiting? Hurry up. What's the delay? Battery change. Guys, who has the battery?
Стоим, ждем.
Okay.
Быстрее, ребята, аккумулятор.
Stand by. Get the battery.
Не, нормально. Сейчас что это хорошо.
No, he's okay. He feels well.
Намордничек оденем.
Okay, ready? Camera.
Можем. И начали.
Take.
Well, the crew is getting its land legs back on the steppe of Kazakhstan. part of the film crew associated with the movie Challenge, which featured Peresild as a surgeon flying to the space station to attend to an ailing crew member who was portrayed by Novitskiy on board. The film crew shooting additional scenes at the landing site before the crew is carried into the medical tent nearby to get out of their Sokol launch and entry suits.
Давай попробуем от Олега. Давай отойдем от Олега. Ребят, мы мизансцене меняем. Володя отходит от Олега.
Вот отсюда.
Да.
Listen to me. Now, Vladimir must be stepping away from Oleg before he
Ручонки у меня немножечко того.
He's asking for a handshake first, and then he goes towards Zhenya.
Здесь я буду.
Okay, I'll be right here. No, don't kneel, stand first.
Ребят, телефоны засуньте, сейчас скажу куда, хорошо?
Please put away all your smartphones. Get ready for the take.
Исходные все. Тихо.
Так, не грязно, не? Нормально? Нет.
Камера.
Camera.
Идут все? Да. Начали?
Start. Take.
Все было? Должен думать.
Do we need another take?
Еще дубль лучше. Крайний дубль. Повторяем то же самое.
All right.
Исходные, пожалуйста.
Take 3. Everybody back to starting positions.
Антон сказал.
От Олега отходит. Володя отходит от Олега. Приготовились, ребята. Еще раз второй вариант. Еще раз второй вариант.
One more time. Second option. Second option. Is everybody ready? Okay.
Давайте. Все договорились.
All right, agreed.
Готовы, ребята? Да. Камера.
Ready? Camera.
Мотор. Да.
Start.
Начали.
Еще будет. Вот все еще принял, да?
А себя?
Принял? Да.
А себя помогай. Давайте. Ребят, еще дубль. На исходную.
One more take.
Владимир Иванович.
Тут туда.
Юлю и себя.
Да.
Юлия?
Ребята.
Okay. Let's do it quickly. Everybody get ready. Ready. Camera.
This is Mission Control Houston, continuing to watch live views from the landing site in Kazakhstan with the Soyuz MS-18 crew that just returned from their time on the International Space Station. What is happening here is that the movie, The Challenge, there are scenes here post-landing that are being shot for production in the movie, particularly with Yulia Peresild, the Russian actress that you see there. And they've had multiple takes, just like on a movie set. The crew obviously in good spirits and in good condition, supporting all of that under the watchful eye of Russian nurses and other search and recovery personnel. It appears now that they've had several good takes. The crew shortly will be brought into a nearby medical tent for post-landing medical evaluations to change into more comfortable clothing, and then to fly in helicopters back to the staging city in Karaganda, Kazakhstan. And now the crew, as you see, being carried away from the landing site near their capsule towards that medical tent.
Watch for the dead. Don't agitate any dust.
Klim Shipenko, the producer-director, being carried now towards another position near the capsule.
Everybody step back. Crew Commander Oleg Novitskiy, we congratulate you. You're back home and we're very glad to see you.
Я постучу ему срочно.
Конечно. Спасибо большое. Нога. Нога.
Если можно. Там новости Первого канала.
Ой, сколько тебе еще?
Костя, недолго, пожалуйста.
Kostya, please make it brief. Okay, we need to stop Kostya, otherwise he'll never stop himself.
А почему вы сказали, что
Потому что...
Why did you say that inaudible? Because it was very difficult. All right, we need to wrap it up. Everybody step back. Step back. Now group photo.
Остальные палаты. Остальные палаты. Без аппарата. Будет, Олег будет.
With Oleg. and Yulia, but commander first. And then us next. Okay.
It appears as if the crew now will be carried towards the medical tent with post-landing filming of some scenes for the movie Challenge having been completed.
Yes, please take this for now.
Novitskiy being carried first.
Second measurement here. Okay.
This is a Russian tradition to have the Soyuz commander sign the outside of his spacecraft.
Oh, we still have to ride this vehicle, yes. All right. The commander left his autograph. Yulia, you are the best. Okay. Let's approach the descent module. Keep filming. No. Come from that side. Excuse us.
And Novitskiy now in the medical tent, soon to be followed by Peresild and Shipenko. Actress Yulia Peresild now about to enter the medical tent. And Klim Shipenko now being carried toward the medical tent. So all three crew members, Oleg Novitskiy, Yulia Peresild, and Klim Shipenko, now at the medical tent to get out of their Sokol launch and entry suits and into more comfortable clothing before they are loaded onto Russian Mi-8 helicopters for the flight back to the staging city of Karaganda, Kazakhstan, where they will board Russian a Gagarin Cosmonaut Training Center aircraft for the flight back to Star City, Russia, and their training base. So with all three crew members safely back on Earth and in the medical tent at the landing site in Kazakhstan, the landing went about as well as can be expected by the book. Some replays of the landing that you saw earlier in our live coverage of the return of the Soyuz MS-18, with the landing occurring at 11:35 p.m. Central Time, 12:35 a.m. Eastern Time, 10:35 a.m. at the landing site in Kazakhstan on Sunday morning. Novitskiy wrapping up 191 days on the International Space Station, now 531 days in space on his three missions. Peresild and Shipenko expanding a new dimension in space commercialization by spending 12 days on the orbital outpost, filming a movie titled Challenge, in which Peresild portrayed a surgeon attending to an ailing crew member.
Here?
The launch of Peresild and Shipenko occurring on October 5th on the Soyuz MS-19 spacecraft that remains at the International Space Station, along with its commander, Anton Shkaplerov, now part of the Expedition 66 crew. Shkaplerov to return to Earth next March with NASA's Mark Vande Hei and Russian cosmonaut Pyotr Dubrov. So with that, we'll wrap up our coverage for tonight. A safe landing for the Soyuz MS-18 and its three crew members, Novitskiy, Peresild, and Shipenko, safely back on Earth. Thanks for joining us throughout the course of the day and the evening. We wish you a great weekend, and that's it for now from Mission Control in Houston.